Hey,
Hey, you look cute.
how you doing?
I'm good. Okay. What do we have on?
Got my Nolly perfume going on with my chandelier earrings, with my beaded bracelet and my gold bracelet. And then I'm wearing my Zara crop top with my denim Levi jeans.
Okay.
And then I'm wearing these flat slide sandals. So what you wearing? What are you wearing?
So I'm wearing my crop top with the back out from, can't remember where I got it from, maybe H&M or Zara. And then I have on my cute light wash jeans from Fashion Nova with the slit on the side at the bottom. Then I have on my cute little kitten heel sandals, the braided ones. And then have on my earrings, not sure what to call these, abstract earrings, my gold chain, some rings for accessory, and yeah. Okay, period.
Period. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, I'm really Renee. So we got a guest with us today, Miss
Jay. Okay. So what are we talking about today?
So today we're going to be talking about dating in my generation versus her generation.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's two
Totally different.
things. Two totally different.
So today we're going to be talking about dating in our generation and how dating has changed and evolved over the time and how we're dating now.
Yeah. I don't know. I definitely feel like it's totally different nowadays. Like, back then, people were more dating to marry, and like, I don't know, I feel like people were more in love and like just had that like essence of like everyone was kind of like a lover girl / lover boy back then, whereas now it's like people are just
More
messing
F
around.
boys.
Yeah, just more F boys, exactly, and just like
More hot girl summer type of
hot
vibe.
girl summer,
Hot boy summer.
Yeah, literally. It's like people were more just messing around and like playing with each other rather than actually like
wanting to get to know somebody.
Yeah, and even if I feel like, even if we're young, you know, I'm in my 20s, like we're young, we not really looking to marry, but at least like looking to have that connection that really like fulfills you and not just like depletes you.
So how do you feel like, what would you say how that affected you? Like, what do you think now that you're like wanting to like kind of date more seriously? How do you think that affects you in this generation? Because I know for like our generation, we, like you said, we were more we had like a goal in mind when dating. We had more of like, I'm dating to get to marry, or I'm dating so that I can get to be in a long-term relationship. Whereas y'all's generations was more short-term.
Yeah, and quick pace.
Quick,
and, like,
very quick.
just,
yeah.
Yeah. It definitely is like, it's different, and I think like even within my generation that does do that, I think there is like a longing and a yearning to like have those connections and like you know, really be loved and feel like they can love. I think for me, like personally, like I would say like it obviously affects everyone. So like, yeah, it affects me, and to know that like how things, just to see from my parents and my parents' parents, like to see how love was back then makes you just kind of like, okay, like where is that now? Like where is that? And I feel like it almost kind of makes you I feel like it almost kind of makes you want to search for that specific love, but then you keep finding it in the wrong places, because that's not what it is like now.
And same with my generation. My generation before us was all about love and getting married at a young age. And for me, I'm a divorcee. So for me, I know that like I long for a long-term relationship and eventually to get married again. But I know as our age changed, with a whole bunch of like a lot of technology going on, everything became fast-paced, and I think that kind of had an effect on how we also dated it. So it kind of evolved into the Gen X generation because, you know, there's so much out there to see, like on social media and on, you know, just different platforms. You know, you got porn going on sometimes. So to where now, like everything is just out in the open, and like people nowadays are not taking it seriously as much as they used to because they kind of over sexualize things. I know with Instagram and everything, you got the Instagram baddies with the curves and all of that. And so like I feel like the shapes and what people expect nowadays is totally different.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it almost seems to me like, I don't know, like, because you actually lived in that time. So like there's like this whole like I don't know if it's facade or just like this thing that's been romanticized back in the time that you were born in, like that era of like of a person finding love and like caring more about her character or his character rather than just
like.
what they look like.
Right.
For instance, Love Jones, the movie, your favorite movie.
Yes, that was my favorite
that
movie.
like I feel like that's kind of like the idea of what I have in my head of how it was back then. Is that true, or like do you feel like you?
Yeah, I feel like the slow jams was more of a thing back then, and so everybody was trying to be romantic and romance and everything, and we thought, you know, the guys that, you know, were romantic and everything were that type of guy. And so that really was a thing back then with Love Jones and all of that. And
like getting letters from your lover.
Yeah, getting letters from your lover, talking all night long on the phone.
Yeah.
Sitting up, you know, just kind of.
I love that. Like I feel like for me,
caressing
I feel like,
and holding and all of that.
I feel like back then it was like a lot more effort on like pursuing women, like or of a guy pursuing women. It was a lot more effort, a lot more thoughtful than it is nowadays, where I feel like nowadays us as women too, I think we kind of like shifted that expectation of, oh, you need to buy me something, you need to do this, you need to be the provider already, rather than expecting like, oh, he needs to pursue me, show like little like things that show me that he could be that.
Or he's the one.
And so I feel like that probably creates like this divide, obviously this divide between men and women nowadays. Like the expectations are higher, and not saying that that's bad, but
speaking of expectations, do you think that guys get along with girls nowadays? How do you feel about guys and girls getting along? I feel like guys and girls don't really get along as much as they used to. And like you were saying, the expectations has totally shifted and changed. I feel like women are more independent now than they ever were. And they want to do a lot of the things that men do on an equal level. And so it kind of creates this like divide and this tension between men and women on how they interact with each other, because it's almost like they're trying to compete. So,
and I think it's definitely that shift alone. I think that's definitely affected the dating pool for this generation, because it's like I said, nobody's really focused on what their characteristics are or like who they could be. The camera cut off. So you had said like,
no, the expectations are different, a lot different back then than it is now, as far as men and women getting along and the contention that they have, because they feel like they're always trying to compete against each other. I know like in my generation, we wanted our men to be more thoughtful, and we wanted our men to take charge, and we wanted our men to make decisions and stuff like that. And I think women for the most part still do, but I think that just this generation doesn't really like that. They want to be the one to do that. I feel like the women are more of the go-getter, and I want to lead and be up front and stuff like that.
And I think a part of that is fine. I think there's just balance to everything. But going back to like with dating and everything, I think that like I said before, the perspectives have like shifted in what people think about, or I think today, especially in a world of like social media, young entrepreneurs, like a whole bunch of businesses booming, like just people going,
Boss
going.
babes.
Yeah. And I feel like it shifted to more of what can you provide for me, what can you do for me, instead of who are you,
right? And what can we do for each
together?
other?
Yeah, what can we grow? How can we grow together? Like, it's less about. I feel like it's more or less about connection. And more about what I need,
right?
Instead of
so more self-centered instead of more of us together doing it together and being a power team.
Yeah.
So speaking of power team, what do you feel like in your dating life would like to see? Or for this generation, what do you feel like you would like to see from both men and women?
I think I definitely would like to see more. There's a lot of, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of down-to-earth people, but I think I would like to see more people who are being themselves up front and not
authentic.
Authentic, and not putting on this facade of like, oh, like I can be attractive and I can do this, I can do that, I can
I
like,
have a lot of money, I can provide this for you and I can do that.
Yeah, and I'm like, instead of like trying to boost yourself up like your profile page to get like sold, I feel like it should be more of like
less ego.
Yeah, less ego, more actual genuine connection, probably more friendship in the beginning before even dating too. Like, that's initially what I like. Doesn't always happen, but I think that's like important, like friendship and like getting to know the person before even going into like, oh hey, like let's date type of thing, or hey, like let's be together or do whatever. And then also, like, don't get me wrong, because there's like, I feel like the difference too between your generation and now is that there's like a lot more sexual empowerment and a more I guess like this free spirited way of going about like a person's sex life. Like, if you like to have sex and you want to have a partner and just be free, don't really have any strings attached, that's cool. But it's definitely different from back then. I don't think that was really like common.
No, sex empowerment was not a thing in our generation. It was more so women are more subdued and they keep the reservation with their body for their mate, not over sexualized. I think that like with your generation, things are much more sexualized, much more freedom in that aspect. But don't get me wrong, with our generation, we did have freedom, but it was more freedom behind scenes.
Yeah, what did you guys call it? I think this is like, I don't think nobody ever really says this, but what y'all call it? No, not foreplay, but you would say homie loving friends.
We had,
instead of
back then, for sexual,
like, so
if you wanted to be more free and you just didn't want to have strings attached, we had what was called homie lover friends. And so basically you were with your guy that was, you guys were together, you didn't have any other sexual partners, both parties knew that, and we were just homie lover friends. We called it friends with benefits. Y'all called them F-boys, we called them friends with benefits. And so that was a thing back in our generation. But for me, for my expectations may be a little bit different from yours in your 20s.
Right.
Because I'm looking for more of a person that's more established in their career, somebody that I can grow old with. My expectations for dating, you want to get to know the person, and you always want to establish that friendship before going fast. One of the things that I did in my past, which I feel like many women kind of go wrong, is they jump into relationships without actually getting to know the guy first. So I think the most important thing to do is to establish that friendship, establish that foundation from the very beginning, and don't let men try to push you into doing something that you don't want to do.
Exactly.
Like if you said no about being in a relationship, you don't want to be in a relationship right now because you want to establish that friendship, and then that guy keeps going and pushing forward and trying to get into that relationship prior to that, yeah, that is definitely a red flag, and that's something that women should look out for. Men and women both should look out for that, but for them to respect boundaries. I think respecting boundaries is the most important thing, and valuing that person. Not only seeing what you could bring to the table, but what that other person can bring to the table. I think that it's both ways. I think that men and women both should serve each other. and it should be a partnership versus a dictatorship on like who is head over anything. I think two people can lead, at the same time.
Yeah.
And then there's different parts that they lead.
I agree. Yeah, definitely. I think that goes hand in hand with what I was saying, like of having more of a connection than what can I get you and what can you give me. And I feel like nowadays love has this thing where it's more transactional than it is, I guess, just pure and unconditional.
Right.
Yeah.
That's definitely, yeah. And
Yeah.
speaking of love, like, do you feel like love is enough, like, in a relationship? Do you think that, like, all you need is love and that's it in a relationship? Or do you think it takes, for me, I feel like it takes definitely more than just love. Sometimes you can love somebody and it's very toxic, and love is just not enough. I think love and money, I think you need more than that. Like you said, it's very true. Sometimes, like in your generation, even in our generation, as we blend them together, I think love is definitely transactional, and I think it needs to be more value based. Like, what value do we bring to each other, and how can we grow together in our vision and make both of us expand?
I think for me, I haven't really experienced love yet in like the relationship-y, like,
Yeah, you're still young.
boyfriend,
You're still young.
girlfriend department. But like from even like loving your family members, loving friends, it's definitely, I don't think love is enough, because if you love a person and there's just so much clash and there's so much conflict, within that love, I don't think that's like enough. And I think love has different levels to it. Like, you can love someone from afar, you can be in love with someone, you can love them but not be in love with, like, there's just so many different variables whenever it comes to love.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that nowadays, this generation, and just like even all, like you said, in blending it, I think we definitely need to reevaluate what that really means for us individual. And love and what that means to us individually, because I feel like a lot of us are, no matter how much we want something or like to believe we're ready for something like love, I think a lot of us are not ready, and that's what creates this cycle of just not true connections, because we're just rejected beings, or like subconsciously we believe that we're rejected people, rejecting each other, because like in this cycle of toxic relationships, or like just having homie lover friends and not actually building that true like pure connection with each other. I think there's a lot that we need to heal from individually as a collective before we can even like go
be in a relationship.
Yeah,
I so wholeheartedly believe that I think that in order for anybody to know what love is, you must know what that is for yourself, and you must have that boundary within yourself. Because I don't think that love is black or white. I don't think it's something that, like, I think there's so many different variables to love, and you can kind of move in and out of it. And so knowing that you can move in and out of it, I think it just takes more of a commitment and a decision on two people who want to be in a relationship part. And also, I believe that it has to be commitment within yourself to know what you really want. Because I believe that women always tend to say that they know what they want, and they want this in a man, they want that in a man. But once they get in that relationship, they really don't know what that means and what they really want.
Or even how to handle it.
So I think that it first starts with us. I think it starts with, sorry guys, our camera keeps cutting off. It doesn't want us to be great today. So, but basically what I was saying, I'm going to wrap this up. But basically what I was saying is that, like, we just need to evaluate what love is, and also take care of ourselves more by loving ourselves. Showing ourselves just showing ourselves overall respect for ourselves, respect for one another, what do you want to say?
Pretty much what you said. Yeah. I definitely think that you know, as we're growing as a collective, I definitely think we're getting to the right track. You know, things have to get worse before they get better.
Right.
So yeah, I think just knowing that individually, like keeping in mind that we need to work on ourselves, and that's the only way we can actually. I have a lot of spit in my mouth. Hold on. That's the only way that we can actually find true connections is being authentic with ourselves first, and then we can be, you know, authentic with each other and real with each other. And I really just hope that like our dating pool gets better because it's been hard.
Honestly, I think that it's going to take a lot of people getting offline and having a lot of expectations of what one another is supposed to be doing, or you know what they're supposed to look like. I think once we make connections in real life and really learn what reality is, I think that it would only get better from there. I think that we all have to do some self-searching and really stop trying to put on for someone or to put on for ourselves to make ourselves appear a certain way. And like you said, just really being authentic is where I think true love really lies. And then just overall connecting with others, connecting with nature, getting out in the real world, and just really seeing beauty outside of ourselves. That's all we have for today on dating.
Yeah, that's all I have.
So if you guys enjoyed this video, I would like for you to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye.